Welcome to this explainer, guys. Today, we are unpacking an absolutely incredible conflict straight out of ancient texts. We're heading all the way back to the Treta Yuga to look at what happens when unstoppable loyalty literally collides with an immovable divine promise. It's actually a really profound look at a dilemma we all face in our own lives. What do you do when two things you fiercely believe in completely clash with one another?
Now, you might be wondering, how exactly did Hanuman, Lord Ram's absolute greatest devotee, end up hurling his mighty mace against Lord Shiva's fiercest warriors? It honestly feels like an impossible paradox, right? Well, today, we're going to map out the legendary cause and effect chain that dragged these two immense powers onto the exact same battlefield. Seriously, prepare yourselves, because this sequence of events is nothing short of breathtaking.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. The Catalyst.
So, to really understand this, we need to set the stage in the Treta Yuga. Emperor Ram has just defeated Ravana, and to establish absolute Dharma across the land, he kicks off the grand Ashwamedha Yagya. The Ashwamedha Ashwa, it isn't just a horse. It's the living, breathing symbol of Ram's sovereign power. By ancient tradition, if anyone dares to grab its reins, boom, it is an instant declaration of open war. And to make sure nobody gets any funny ideas, the horse is heavily guarded. It's followed by Ayodhya's absolutely invincible army, led by Commander Shatrughna, Pushkal, and of course, fiercely protected by Lord Hanuman himself.
Moving right along to Section 2, the trigger.
Well, the divine horse ends up wandering into Devpur. Now, Devpur is a kingdom practically dripping in devotion to Mahakal, Lord Shiva, and it's ruled by King Viramani. Now, what's really interesting about this is that Viramani had actually achieved the unthinkable. He had secured a direct, ironclad guarantee from the Lord of Destruction himself. Shiva promised him, "Whenever your kingdom faces a crisis, I will personally protect you." Talk about a cosmic failsafe. And you know what? That exact failsafe gets instantly activated when the king's incredibly fearless son, Prince Rukmangad, just boldly walks up and grabs the golden reins of the Ashwamedha horse.
And as you'd expect, the domino effect is immediate. Step 1, Prince Rukmangad stops the horse. Step 2, in response, Ayodhya's generals, Pushkal and Shatrughna, unleash this fierce, relentless barrage of divine arrows, totally decimating Devpur's forces. Step 3, seeing absolutely certain defeat, King Viramani literally drops his weapons right there on the battlefield and cries out to his ultimate protector, praying, "Mahadev, today your devotee is losing." Which, of course, brings us to Step 4, Shiva's army stepping in. Which brings us to Section 3, the escalation.
So, Lord Shiva hears the prayer. But he doesn't come down himself, at least not yet. Instead, he unleashes his terrifying army onto the battlefield. He sends his incredibly wrathful commander Veerbhadra alongside his mighty general Nandi, and this brilliantly illustrates the true nature of this war. If you look at it, on one side, you have Ayodhya's generals fighting to protect Emperor Ram's authority and Dharma. But on the other side, Devpur and Shiva's army are fighting to honor a divine promise and protect pure bhakti, or devotion. So what you should really take away from this isn't some classic good versus evil showdown. Not at all. It's a devastating, heartbreaking clash where both sides are undeniably right. The sheer destruction that follows is honestly staggering. Veerbhadra enters the battlefield like an absolute force of nature. Despite a really valiant effort by Pushkal, Veerbhadra's overwhelming power is just too much, and he brings him down. Seeing his nephew fall, Shatrughna completely erupts in anger. He unleashes a literal storm of divine weapons, but they are completely useless against Shiva's wrathful commander. With one blinding, earth-shattering strike from his blazing sword, Veerbhadra cuts right through the defenses. And in a heartbreaking moment, Ram's own brother, Shatrughna, collapses unconscious onto the blood-stained earth.
Let's move to Section 4, the confrontation, and see how this builds.
Seeing Lord Ram's brother fall unconscious changes absolutely everything. Hanuman's inner Rudra, that fierce aspect of Shiva hidden within him, awakens with this terrifying, earth-shaking roar. But to stop Hanuman from reaching Veerbhadra, Nandi steps up. Picture this cinematic visual. Nandi raises his glowing trident, and it starts expanding as he morphs into a colossal, gigantic divine bull. He charges in with the speed of lightning, quite literally tossing foot soldiers into the air just from the sheer wind force of running past them. The collision is imminent. The giant bull is charging right at him. But Hanuman, He doesn't move an inch. He stands completely still, rooted like a mountain. As those massive horns get within striking distance, Hanuman simply blocks them. Perfect form. He channels his monumental strength, lifts the colossal bull, and violently hurls Nandi through the air. We're talking tossing a giant bull miles away, crashing him through multiple mountains. The dust just explodes into the sky. And finally, the path to his real target is clear. Hanuman charges straight for Veerbhadra. And guys, the explosion of power when these two ultimate forces collide is staggering. Mace meets flaming sword, it sends massive shockwaves echoing across the land. Hanuman is expertly parrying every single blow from Veerbhadra's massive blade. They are literally leaping from the earth up to the mountain peaks, crashing around in a flurry of sparks and shockwaves, raining fire all over Devpur.
Now, things take a very intense turn in Section 5, the stalemate and the cosmic dilemma.
The epic battle escalates to its absolute reality-bending peak. Normal combat just isn't cutting it anymore. Veerbhadra actually expands his body into a terrifying, mountain-sized giant wreathed in flames, wielding a sword of pure fire. But of course, not to be outdone, Hanuman mirrors him. I want you to really paint a hyper-realistic mental image of this scene in your head. A colossal Hanuman wielding his mighty mace, matched blow for blow against a giant Veerbhadra clashing high in the sky, reducing the thousands of soldiers in the armies down below to looking like tiny, insignificant ants. It all comes down to the climax, one final desperate move. Veerbhadra gathers all of his cosmic energy, unleashing a fatal, lightning-fast strike with his flaming sword. But Hanuman? He just closes his eyes for a split second and starts chanting the name of his lord, Ram, Ram, Ram. Powered entirely by that pure devotion, Hanuman reaches out and halts that flaming weapon of destruction completely, bare-handed. No way, right? He stops it dead in its tracks, and in the very next second, Hanuman swings his mighty mace with full force, driving it straight and true right into Veerbhadra's massive chest. The impact is so ridiculously severe that even Veerbhadra, the wrathful commander of Shiva, loses his balance and staggers miles backward. The battlefield suddenly falls into this heavy, eerie silence. But listen, it is definitely not a silence of victory. So the crucial point here is, defeating the god of destruction's top commander has just triggered the ultimate, irreversible consequence. Hanuman slowly looks up. Through the clearing fog and smoke, he knows exactly what this silence means. Since his commanders couldn't fulfill the boon, the ultimate failsafe has been activated. The Lord of Lords, the god of destruction, Mahadev himself, steps directly onto the blood-soaked battlefield. Hanuman's absolute ultimate test has just arrived. Which leaves us staring right at this impossible paradox. Hanuman is literally a Rudramansh, an avatar and part of Shiva himself. Can a Rudramansh actually strike his own creator? Or will his unwavering duty to Emperor Ram overpower his deep, deep devotion to Lord Shiva? It's a collision of epic proportions, isn't it? It leaves you completely captivated, wondering what you would do when your deepest duties violently contradict. Well, we'll leave that impossible dilemma hanging in the air for now. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, guys. Stay curious and keep questioning the incredible depths of these ancient texts.